This picture up here on my right is my boot camp picture in 1942. And my instructor, senior drill instructor, was Sergeant Allen. Junior instructors were Sergeant Corporal Alexander, and Corporal Rice. And that Rice is R-Y-S-E, I think it is. And you see the boot camp, the boots up there. I don't think you can see the emblem, globe and anchor, on the top of our pith helmet. That's what we were wearing at that particular time. But behind that emblem is a little screw, yay big, holds the emblem on the pith helmet. And when you misbehave, Sergeant Allen or Corporal Rice or Corporal Alexander will let you know. They pop you on top of the head with either a swagger stick or their hand or whatever and knock it down in your ears. Now I've got 2 scars right here. That's where the part of the globe and anchor was on it. I don't think they have that now, and I don't think they allow these sorts. At least when I was a drill instructor, they wouldn't let us manhandle the boots. Of course, what you do in the barracks stays in the barracks. Okay, I wanted to thank a couple of people very much on it, and it has given me a great honor to see them come here to visit with me on it. And that's Judge Johnny Gogo's mama. She's my mama on it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Johnny's sister, and the great, and really the boss of the whole thing. Anyway, Mama was 6 months old, and I attacked, not myself only, but with the 3rd Division at that, and which had a very, very hard time taking, really. And something that you don't know, and I have never heard of anyone explain it to me or mentioned it in any of the talks that I've heard on it, is just when we were on the ship going to attack to Saipan. The 3rd Division was a reserve for the 3rd Division on Saipan, and our 3rd Division was waiting on the board ship in case they needed more help. They would have whatever the signal was that come in. Anyway, on Saipan, there's 2 things that we were told. First thing, look diligently for Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was supposed to be lost at sea but she was finally found that she was found on Saipan. and the plane that she was flying was left on Saipan. That's one thing that I don't hear people talk about on it. I have a letter from some people that have telegrams from Amelia Earhart, and that was not mentioned either, because she was really on a secret mission, flying mission. And the second thing on it, just before we landed, they came in and they took all of our money away from us on the ship. Every bit of it. $1, $2, $5, $10, and $20. They took it away from us and replaced it, dollar for dollar, with what is called Hawaiian dollars. Now, the people that are, I think it's called numismatic, which is a coin collectors and money collectors and stuff like that. They wanted to make sure that they took all of the money out of our pockets and out of our sea bags and anything else. We couldn't carry it on board, on shore at all. And the reason was because when the Japs attacked Guam and Saipan, the payroll master for the United States government that supplied all the payroll for all the islands around the area. All of the islands around the area on it. And the payroll master, and it's in cash. So when the Japanese captured Guam, they also captured the paymaster. And the paymaster had in his possession many millions of dollars. So they didn't want us poor enlisted men to be charged with finding that particular person or the bank account that held the money in cash. So they printed dollar for dollar for those that have printed on that. Now you look in the numismatic magazines around it, you find that, see the picture of that $1 bill or a $5 bill that's got Hawaii right across it. And if you find one, boy, keep that son of a gun, because it's going to be really, really important to keep and be very valuable. That was one of the things that we were told at that time, and gave us as I said, they exchanged our dollars for it. That was one thing I wanted to see for. I joined the Marine Raiders in 1945. I am the only original Raider left of the 4th Marine Raiders. There's 2 of them in San Diego area and 1 of them in Washington State, or from the 3rd Raider Battalion. My commanding officer was Colonel Roosevelt, James Roosevelt. We called him Jimmy. He was a great man, and he and I were in a hospital together for both of us got malaria at the same time. Just before we attacked the New Georgia Islands. And in New Georgia, Vanguno, another one in there too, there's 4 of them, are all in the Solomon chain, the same as Guadalcanal. And I was on Guadalcanal with the 3rd Marine, with the 4th Marine Raiders on it, as a for discovery on it and watching for other things, and we guarded Henderson Field on it. Now those are some of the things you probably have heard about a lot, but that's was one of the things that the 4th Marine Raiders were involved in, really. And the 1st and 2nd Raiders were already overseas, and they were able to do that and stay there. Then the 4th came in, and the 3rd was off on another operation. After we got through attacking Guam, we started to train for our next operation, which was called Iwo Jima. We trained for 4 months on Guam, and a lot different than what we had run across in Guadalcanal and the New Georgia and Morocco. They were all headhunters, natives, a lot more jungle. And you know, all the time, and this is no good, I've gone through many hours of crawling through jungles and headhunters, and not one time did I ever see a snake. And they advertise that there's a lot of pythons on those islands, but I never saw one. I saw some headhunters. I saw some heads on sticks that the natives had cut their heads off of other natives and pulled them on a stick, put them in a small pit container on top of a stick and smoked them. And then they used them for display. Look at me. So, anyway, that's some of the things. The 3rd Division, 21st Marines. I was in the 21st Marines Regiment of the 3rd Division, Marine Corps. We fought there, but we did not go on the on D-Day. D-Day was February the 19th, 1945. We were floating reserve for that, the 3rd Marine Division, of which I was one of. We went in on the next day, on the 20th. They said we could go in because they needed us badly. We could not go in right then, but they said you have to go in. So we got on board, we were called from below deck. We went down the rope ladder got into the boat, and we circled around the ship, and it was raining like you know what. And the waves were 6-foot waves around there, and half of us got sick from it. We circled to get involved, trying to go in. We could not get the beach master's permission to come ashore because there's too many LSTs that were wrecked, too many boats of other types were there, too many men were killed. The beach was loaded with parts of Marines and Navy Seabees, which is really, that Iwo Jima was the first time that the Navy Seabees came in on the landing right then. They were started coming ashore on the 5th and on the 4th boat, 4th LST coming in. And that's the first time. Usually they waited until the next day or whatever, but not the first, not on the landing. They had to start building the airfield that was over in Iwo Jima. There was 3 airfields, and they had to get busy on that. But what they did, they had to get busy then picking up parts of humans, of the Marines, putting them in a sack, and walk them and drag them over to the military area, or some that were walking wounded, they went aboard ship to a hospital ship or a small boat. After that, they saw that there was enough room on it, but still they had to get rid of some of the LSTs there. So all in all, they said, well, you can't come ashore yet, and it was getting close to evening. So we had to go back aboard ship. So we had to crawl up that ladder again, go up. Good thing we were going to sleep in a nice, cozy, warm place that night. This was the furthest north that this Marine had never been in the South Pacific. Of course, our commander was very mad. He wanted to get in right away and get his boys to work. So he tried all the ways. He couldn't get it. Finally, he got the word that evening about midnight, so he told all the captains and leaders, etc., to get your men ready. So we're going aboard. We're going to go back aboard to the LST. So we all went back up topside. Got over to the loaded us up on it, and just as a short interlude on that, one of the flamethrowers on Iwo Jima, on our first time we went down the ladder to get in the LST, he had the flamethrower tank on his back. And he had one hell of a time trying to get it. I think it's about 40 pounds or something like that, besides his his pack, his poncho, his gear, his rifle, all that hanging on him. He got in the boat with us. When we were ordered to return, he went back. They found out it was a lot better if the flamethrower tank would be put in the headquarters company weapons and go in right before the operator of the flamethrower went in. So the headquarters company had control of the flamethrower tank and fuel. Now, if you've all heard the story on the flamethrower or some book, that's a little bit different from what really happened. Anyway, we landed on Iwo Jima. As soon as we landed on it, we jumped off of the LST. Me and my squad went off on one side, and two of the recruits that had just been assigned, they jumped off on the other side. He didn't follow my orders to go off on the port side, and they were both killed. They should have stayed with us because we knew what was going on, and they were new fellows. I lost a corpsman there at the same time. He didn't get killed, he just got shot in the one leg ripped open. So, and about that time, they ordered the ships at sea to give us support. And so the ships started giving us the support to go over. My very best friends on it had to go up to this pillbox on our left side, and he going up there, he couldn't get rid of that particular machine gun that was off that pillbox. And about that time, the artillery started coming in from the ships. And the first shot that came in from the ship landed right on top of my sergeant's frame. It was a short round. Didn't have it zeroed in good. Me and my point man went up, take a look. It was just pieces of his arm, his legs, shoulders. All it was just pieces of bodies. Just one short round. I'm going to give you his name because the family would be devastated on that. The 28th Marines, 5th Division, orders were to go to Mount Suribachi and take it. The 4th Marines told to take airfield number 3, which was right at the bottom of Mount Suribachi. Our good friend Major Wright told me that, and I was real privileged to be able to talk to him. I know we had a very good discussion. We were the Grand Marshals of, I think it was the 4th of July Stockton Parade on it. And we went around town and we did. The old Queen Elizabeth wave. We stopped at the grandstand and we disembarked at the grandstand, walked around, got up there, we sat right up there on top of the grandstand, and of course we did everything we were supposed to do up there. And then between parade cars and trucks, etc. Well, Major Bill and I were able to talk. And that was the first time that he had opened up to me or to anyone in the club of what he did and where he was when he got wounded and all of that. And we sat there and we visited, and he told me what the 28th Marine did going up over that hill to plant that flag. And I get chills just thinking about it myself. Matter of fact, you're taking me right now. But he lost, I don't remember the exact amount, but I think it was about 400 or 500 Marines just to go up to the top of the hill were killed. And of the 28th, the 28th Regiment put that flag up, which means a great deal for us as a Marine, and as this celebration is, we usually have that available as well on it. I mean, Sergeant, I'll say Sergeant now, because at that time he was a gunnery sergeant, not a major. He was a gunnery sergeant first, and then he went on up the ladder after Iwo. We gotta, I'm sorry about pausing on this, it's hard sometimes. We got up there, we did. Major White said his main duty was to count the dead that Suribachi on it. And the reason that they put Gunnery Sergeant and his crew that he was ahead to count them and make sure that you get a list of every one of them that comes off of that mountain, so we know for sure how many people were killed on it. Keep track of the dead, not the living. Keep track of the dead on it. And the reason was because they had on one or two of the islands prior to that had two different people that was in charge of taking care of the dead on those islands, and they couldn't understand, because this guy would say there was 15 or 20, or no one said, well, there was 200, I thought. And so they didn't have a good count. So this was the way they combated that way. They said, you're there, and you and your crew will keep track of everything that comes off that mountain on it. If they're walking wounded, put down their walking wounded. If they're not, and if they were dead, coming down with their carriers, put them down there. So they had a real good count of that stuff, but that was his duty. So when the flag was raised, poor old Bill didn't see it. He was right down below it. He heard everything go, all the stuff going on out there, but he couldn't understand. He couldn't see it because of the overhang of the volcanic rocks, etc. is out there. But he told me all about that and how many people that were up there, how many people got down, how many people were on stretchers. They took 1, 2, or 3 to get. There's a lot of rocks up there and boulders, and they have to lift over them. So that was Major's contribution to this. He told me also about what he did from there after the flag was raised on the 23rd of February 1945. He would then go to take his crew to airfield number 2. Now all the Japanese that had been quartered on the Suribachi and on airfield number 3 were chased off the island, off the mountain, and they went down and they all landed up in airport number 2. Therefore, they had the largest fighting on a single area of the Marine Corps in the South Pacific, right there on number 2. And that's what I participated in, was that one. It's the largest bonsai attack was off of that. Major Bill Cottis did not get all the way over there to number 2. He got to 4 division, because number 4 had taken the 3rd airfield and part of the lower part of Mount Suribachi, and he was going over there to help with the 4th Division, which was getting ready to fight on number 2. The 3rd Marines, the 3rd Division, was now aboard the island, plus the 2 guys on the wrong side of the Amtrak. We were supposed to rendezvous the division in the middle of the field of number 2 airfield on it, because they needed to be relieved of their position as they were leading everything from the Suribachi down the 3rd field on over to the 4th Division area on it. And the 21st Marines, which is part of the 3rd Division, their objective was the airfield number 2 as well. We were supposed to relieve the 4th Division because they'd been fighting the 3rd Division as well to get up there. We were supposed to relieve them at 10 o'clock. We didn't make it. We got fought back on it. They were really getting ticked off of us being in that particular area, I think. So I think they had a lot of ammo in there as well on it that they had to depend upon. Anyway, the 4th Division went in a part way, and they got drove back to the area that we were supposed to be in. We finally got a reprieve a little bit from that evening. That brought us into 22nd of February. That guy with the flamethrower said he took out 7 pillboxes on that area right in front of us. That didn't happen, but 3 of them did. There's 2 pillboxes and 1 blockhouse on it that the 4th Division emptied, because they went up to that area, got shoved back to our area, the 21st on it, but they didn't get. They left a empty pillbox, 2 empty pillboxes, and 1 blockhouse, because we were on the tail end of the attack at that particular time. But the flamethrower guy said that he took out 7 pillboxes there. He didn't. Anyway, I got hit in the head with a piece of shrapnel or a rifle slug, I don't know which, but it knocked me out for a few minutes. I lost my hearing out of that one. So I'm deaf over here on my left side. Got a little bit on my right side. I'm doing pretty good. That's why I say what? A lot. A lot. Sure. Yeah. And I smile a hell of a lot. I used to carry my gung-ho knife on my backpack. The gung-ho knife has a blade about that long. And I could reach back here, grab it, and I could use that just as well as my. I had been in several bullseye attacks on Guam. Okay. And one of them, I ran out of ammunition as I was going. I had carrying a M1 rifle. And I had 3 clips of ammo, which carries, one clip carries 8 rounds. And I shot 24 Japanese from that one bullseye attack. They come running down the hill, and we tried to stop them. We did, partly. And I got a bayonet stuck through my stomach. So I had I thought it was a good injury, you know, but it didn't go too deep. Got a little blood out of it and stuff like that. But I didn't. I've got the stuff in my book that I wrote up here, more or less, more detail about it. So I was pretty well knew what the bullseye attack was. Well, on Iwo Jima, we ran into the whole doggone mess of Japanese that were on that island, I think. We were fighting with rifles, with rifle butts, with bayonets, with knives, with rocks, with boulders, anything we could. They were just coming out. It was the largest broadside attack by Japanese in the South Pacific. We made it through there. We made that one. We went through to when we got there, I found 2 more of my squad from the Fox Company on the other, and they were stuck in 4th Division area on it. Then I came in, and so as far as I know, we 3 were only 3 left out of my company on that one. Once I attacked on the second one. I got stuck with the 4th Division because some colonel wanted to use my squad to go out and take the Motoyama airfield radio station and city of Motoyama there. And hill number 632 and hill number 832. I hurt my toe, that big toe, the one that I really like. I hurt it, but I stumbled the whole thing. I hurt my big toe, and I hurt my wrist a little bit. We went over and I was with the part of the 3rd Division and part of the 4th Division, and we attacked hill number 832, or 382. We attacked them, got up to the top, and tried to get over the top. We couldn't. And they beat us back. And we went back down below the hill. We did it again, went up again. I had a gunny sergeant that really wanted to go over that hill. And he kept pushing us. We went up there, I think it's 5 times we went up there, and we lost a lot of guys just going over that little hill. And that little hill turned out to be the 2nd highest peak on the whole island. And that's where a lot of the spotters were for the artillery. My scout went over the hill first. He got up. He skirted around the pillbox up there where the machine gun was posted, and thought maybe he couldn't get around it, so he just ran on down the hill on it. Signaled to my BA Yarman, old gun. He went up there and looked around. He couldn't see anything else to shoot at. So I said, well, good, I'm safe. So I started up the hill. And I got up to the top of the hill, and I peeked over the top of the hill and didn't see much. And I started out. And about that time, when the pillboxes there, the guys got anxious, breathed up, pulled, and they started feeding their little 25 Nambu machine gun and sprayed me across the chest. Got it. So I lost my muscle along my chest, cracked my clavicle, went through the top of my lungs, came out on my left side. The second bullet went the same route, and that went through my left arm and took out the muscle on my left arm. So I went down naturally. I went down. Corpsman came, pulled me into a shell hole behind it. And at that time, my BAR man came up, and he had about 100 pieces of blood coming out of the back of his hand because he ran into some guy that had a hand grenade. And it blew up right behind him. And it splattered all the small pieces through his back. So he was walking wounded. So we finally, they gave me enough Adderall and most sulfur and other things that happened in that shell hole. It's in my book. It's on it. We made it back. We walked back because every time we'd get up, well, a shell would come into our shell hole that they told me to, and we didn't want that, so we said, let's get the hell out of here. So we started walking back, and we walked back past 2 over to 3. About that time, here comes one of those big B-29s. And boy, you know, those B-29s are big when they're only about 20 feet off the ground. Trying to look for a safe stand. They had been off to Tokyo, and they had been over in Tokyo, which is not very far from I think 600 miles or something like that, to them to land, because they were running out of fuel and one of the engines were off. They couldn't land there, so they went around. And as they were coming around, we could look right there in hell. About like the way these lights are up here. Man, that thing is. We went on down to the aid station right there at the beach. We talked and visited and stuff like that. I found that what we was doing, hey, you know, some son of a bitch came in and asked me to spray the bunker over there by those 2 pillboxes. Just as we came off the 4th Division area. And I said, well, they're not operating there anymore. Says, you know, the 4th Division cleaned those out. He said, well, he wanted me to spray them anyway. So he went over there and he sprayed it with his BAR, which is a Browning automatic rifle, and came on over and met with the scout, my point man, and they took on off to the sulfur fields. And he says, I don't know, that guy was crazy or something. Well, this crazy guy said he took out 7 pillboxes there. Well, there wasn't no 7 pillboxes, there were 3 empty ones. Because the 4th Division took them. The 23rd Regiment out of the 4th Division came and got them. So, well, I've only got 5 minutes left. I could go on and on. There could be a lot of remembrance and stuff, but I know this is you really don't know how much I appreciate coming just to hear my talk and hear what really happened on that island. We have some memories I know from your parents. You don't realize how many people that come up to me. Yeah, my uncle was on Iwo Jima. My grandfather was on Iwo Jima, all that. And says, he never talked about it. I says, no, I didn't talk about it either. It brought up too many bad memories. And I did not want my children to know what I did and what I was doing in those days on a type of ammunition that I expended to get to where I am today, really. I've got one of my sons over here, and I don't think he knew anything about what I did at that time. I just didn't remember your sons from Vietnam, from Korea, when they come back from there, it's a lot different when they came back from Vietnam. I felt sorry for those guys that came back from Vietnam. The way that the public treated them on it, and the others. But they came back. The war was over physically over there, but not up here. Yeah. They brought that back too. I brought my dreams, my stuff back. I got married 6 months, or less, 6 months. I got married 6 months after. My wife and I spent 74 great years together. She didn't know too much about it. I tried to explain to her. 2 weeks after we were married, we were sleeping in bed. I dutifully took my trousers off and my shirt, etc. Put them on the back of a chair. About midnight, she woke and had to go to the bathroom to relieve herself. Came back, and as she came back, she hit that chair. She knocked my pants, my trousers, coat, off on the floor. I heard it. I didn't know where I was. I heard it. I got up on my knees and then started to attack her. I just damn near got her. She screamed, and that brought me out of it. We had a big talk after that. I mean, didn't we ever have a big talk? I tried to control myself more. I did not control myself that much on it. But remember, your kids has that same problem. Your kids are still at it up here. I got interviewed for the first time on about Iwo Jima by Mrs. Green in 2004. That's the first time that I ever got rid of some of it, was when she was questioning me